Good morning. Good Monday morning. It's Kirsten Liebelt. How are you? It's so good to see you. It's breakfast time. That's what it is. It's breakfast time. It is really, really good to see you guys today. Oh man, I hope you had an incredible weekend. We had such a great weekend. I mean, I could just tell you stuff, but probably doesn't really matter, right? I'm just saying, when the weather gets nice in Minnesota and, you get so excited. And so we did some driving around. We spent time with our grandbabies. We did all the things. So it's been a good weekend. I hope it was with you too. If you're on the replay, let me know where you're coming in from. I love knowing where people come in from. It's so fun. And I wanted to quickly just jump on you guys. And we're going to do I'll show you another 30-gram protein breakfast that I'm doing because that is literally... This is how you can eat and stay full and lose weight and stabilize your blood sugars and all of the things. So I always start by saying, if you've never seen any of my content before, basically what I ended up doing was I was raised Italian and I became insulin resistant at a very young age. I recognized it in my early 20s when I was pregnant, even though I didn't know that's what it was. Oh, I need to switch the scent. Hold on. There we go. Even though I didn't know, I never knew any of the terminology or anything like that. But what I did know was that I was gestational diabetic with my first baby. I was hypoglycemic with my second baby. And in my 30s, the rest of my 20s, I didn't do anything. My dad died when I'm 30. The rest of my 30s, I don't do anything. I actually have a thought process that I'm supposed to just embrace obesity. I know that sounds really strange. Does that sound strange to anybody? Oh my gosh. Crazy to say that out loud, but you just kind of wonder, because we had a lot of obesity and type 2 in my Italian family, this was very normal, right? And I don't do anything about it still, but then in my 40s, my mom won't leave me alone about my sugars, and she is just bugging me. And finally, basically what happens is I'm like, okay, fine, Mom, I'll do something about my sugars, and I start supplementation because I don't think I can switch out my foods. That's a for real thing. And now what I get to do is I actually get to teach switching out foods. And I know Facebook, you can't see what I'm talking about, but I'll chat about this here in just a second. So in my journey of my 50s, starting right around 51, I'm 59 now, but right around 51, I decide, okay, fine. I'm already using supplements and I'm turning things back around, and I can tell because my mind is calmer about food. My appetite is coming back, or coming down, I should say, not coming back. Lord have mercy. My appetite is finally receding. My cravings I'm not hangry and craving the carbs so badly. These are all the things that happen when you are insulin resistant, and when you turn them back around, it changes. And I'm like, you know what? I have to change what got me into this pickle to begin with. And absolutely nobody on the face of the planet is more surprised than I am that I actually did trade out my ingredients and my food. But I do want people to know a couple things. Number one, it took me some time because I did it all by myself. I didn't have the internet. The internet it existed, but I'm just saying, I didn't have TikTok or, people talking, Facebook Live, all that kind of stuff. So I just assessed my life, right? And I did it one ingredient at a time and one recipe at a time. And I always tell women, listen, do this without shame, because there were a lot of things you were taught as a child that, we carry and we don't even think. They're just subconscious tracks, be a part of the clean plate club and, eat everything. And for me, it was, you just eat because you're Italian and that's respectful to whoever made all the food. Things like that. So don't be so hard on yourself, okay? And I just don't know that you can heal a body in shame. So let's stop that part. But anyway, and it took me a few years. It took me a couple of years to get a lot of my ingredient trade outs done. But now what I get to do is I get to literally show you, this is exactly what I did. This is exactly how this has been such an amazing journey. And in the end, I didn't have to stop being a foodie. I thought I had to give up being a foodie, and that was really important to me. So when my dad passed away, he actually had already had all the heart surgeries, and he had already had the pacemaker and all of the things. And he had spent 2 years on dialysis at that point. And his dialysis regimen became You had dialysis, and then later in the day you would throw up. And then the next day you would feel good. And then the next day you knew you had to go back and you were going to throw up again. Just that was where he was. And I'm not saying that's everybody. This is just his story. And Wednesday night, when we were home visiting with the kids, because we had moved away, we were home visiting, and he was throwing up, and he told my sister, this is no way to live. And Friday morning, after his dialysis appointment, he went to the cafeteria. He was at the hospital. He went to the cafeteria. He signed a blank check for his lunch, and he sat down to have lunch, and he had a heart attack and died. I'm assuming that was a heart attack. I'm pretty sure that's true. He had already had all the heart surgeries. And so, you know what? Sometimes staying alive isn't the goal, but staying alive with like function and health and feeling good and having stabilized blood sugars and energy and not aching and not living with a lot of side effect from scripts. Maybe that's what we want more than we just want to live and feel really horrible, awful all the time. Okay. So he just had a lot of meds. He had a lazy Susan full of meds that he was trying to get his body to all the time not interfere with each other and to regulate. And I talk about that because he was an insulin dependent type 2 injections a day. But in the morning, it would take him a few hours to be safe to drive. Okay. So that's what I was raised with. And that's just, I knew where the hypodermic needles were from a very young age. I knew that you didn't touch them. You know, they were in the dresser drawer. I can close my eyes and see the dresser, and I can see the drawer, you know, all of those things. Right. And then he passed at 63. Well, 63, I've always known was young, but wow, is it young now? Because I'm 59. So wow, that was really young. Okay, so I'm just going to take my supplements, but then I'm going to talk to you about my breakfast, my 30 grams of protein breakfast, and I'm going to tell you why you should care about 30 grams of protein at a meal. I'm just running behind this morning, so I literally was like, I'm going to sit down and grab my dollar store container that I've had for years. I actually need to get it fixed. I've talked about this in my stories. It's actually cracked. I mean, this is so silly. Like, but we get like, this is my routine and my routine works for me. And so anyway, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So in talking about eating protein and in talking about digestion, and the reason why I'm bringing up digestion is because everything comes out of conversations that I have with people in my DMs. So somebody had talked to me about insulin resistance and digestion, and is there a connection, messed up digestion? And the answer is absolutely there is. But I'm going to give you some reasons why that is true. And so a part of why when I even talk about food and stuff, yes, it stabilizes your blood sugar. Yes, it stops using, glucose for your fuel in your body so you can actually burn fat. Like all the fat that your insulin as a fat storing hormone has put on your body. If you're insulin resistant, you know what I'm talking about. You've gained weight and you've wondered how in the world I can't seem to turn this bus around. I can't seem to like pull the lever on the train. I can't seem to like, all of the old things don't work for me anymore. The counting of the points, the calorie deficit only, purchasing a $1,200 a month pre-packaged food program. Like it's just not working anymore. Even if something did for a while, now it's not. And that's because insulin is the key to weight loss because it's a fat storing hormone. And so when we talk about this and I talk about protein and stuff, this is how, and this is not grain bread. I'll explain that in a second. This is how you stabilize your blood sugar. And it hums and you feel amazing. This is how we do this. Okay. So digestion, this is 30 grams of protein. I know people are going to ask that because that's what we've been doing here on these lives, talking about protein. All right, so this is how digestion is affected by insulin resistance. So if you've been wondering, why is my digestion so messed up? And I know there are a lot of reasons, right? There's multifaceted conversations around everything, around the food that we eat, around any kind of a diagnosis or whatever. There's many. I'm a very narrow conversation person. So I'm either for people or I'm not, because my narrow conversation is through the lens of insulin resistance. If you know you're insulin resistant, through that lens, let's have conversation so that we can understand, number one, it's not a terminal diagnosis. This is reversible. And number two, if you can understand what's happening, then as you begin to make different decisions for your ingredients and your recipes and all those things, now you have a different reason other than anything that's filled with shame. Well, you didn't have very much self-control anyway. How many times have you tried to diet? I mean, seriously, like just get over yourself. Like how many Mondays has it been that you said you were going to, and this is self-talk. Thanks for the live. Hey, Jen O'Malley. Thank you for all those likes. I appreciate you so much. All of that shame that we do to ourselves. Don't do that. I know, okay, so easy to say that. And then it's a work in progress, right? But what if, just follow me for a second, what if a lot of these things that we're talking about are actually connected to, good morning, connected to insulin resistance and you just didn't even know it? So let's wash away the tracks of our, of our childhood. For me, it was eat, manja. You have to eat because you're, whatever. You're Italian. That's what you do. But then when you gain weight, you're told that you have to lose weight. And then when you lose weight, you're told, hi, Renee. Good morning. You're beautiful too, Renee. Good to see you. And then you're told that you shouldn't get too skinny. So what are the things for you? You don't have to put them in the comments, but I have had some people share, but what are the things for you that you were taught as a child that now kind of play in your head subconsciously and you didn't even really think about it maybe until today? And you're like, that's it. Doggone it. I'm going to stop letting those tracks play without my permission in my brain, without permission. And the second thing is, I talk about this book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. You can get off of Amazon for like $10. That's a really good book, very helpful for, you got to change the way that you speak to yourself. You have to be a lot more kind to yourself. Okay, so let's talk about digestion. Then I'm going to talk about food. Let's do it. Monday morning, you guys. It's a new week. You do not have to feel bad if you're not going cold turkey on anything today. That's not the point. The point is progression, not perfection. Don't set yourself up for failure. Okay, the reason why insulin resistance is connected to digestion issues, and then I'm going to tell you why this plays into helping. Number one, slow gastric emptying. Insulin resistance can delay the emptying of food from your stomach into the small intestine, a condition known as gastroparesis. This can lead to symptoms like bloating, nausea, and a feeling of fullness even after eating small amounts. Okay, now I'm just going to let everybody kind of take that in because we're not thinking about these things being connected to insulin resistance, I'm pretty sure. Hello, Sherry. Good to see you. Good morning. I don't want to miss people. The plate is eggs, scrambled eggs, and with some special ingredients that I'll share because I'm weird. If you want to hear a little bit about weird food, I'm going to tell it to you because I'll tell you why I do it. And then this is an egg white protein bread. Number two, altered gut microbiota. Insulin resistance can affect the balance of bacteria in the gut. A healthy gut microbiome is crucial for efficient digestion and nutrient absorption. An imbalance can lead to digestive issues and inflammation. Okay, inflammation is a key conversation. Number three, increased risk of digestive disorders. People with insulin resistance are more prone to developing a digestive disorder such as IBS, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, both of which can affect digestion and overall gut health. So I just want people to hear me. Like this is all connected. Girl, you can find all of the supplements, like the whole list on my profile. So if you click up on my face right here, my face will come up again right in the middle, which is so strange, but it does. And you just click on it again. And there is a number that you can text if you want to talk to me. Everybody can that's what I do is I chat with people, especially to help people customize, but there's a link there. So I talk a lot about when I'm talking supplements, because this is just what I've done now for over 10 years. It was my path of least resistance that worked out. The trio I recommend for insulin resistance. And then today I'm actually going to add on talking about a digestive enzyme and a probiotic. Okay. Thanks for the question. I appreciate you. Let me see here. So then number 4, impact on nutrient absorption. So we've already said slowed gastric emptying if you're insulin resistant, altered gut, your microbiome, increased risk of digestive disorders like IBS or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Number 4, impact on nutrient absorption. And this actually is going to go right into talking about like why when we give our body the raw materials, it actually functions and people's sugars come down. Their insulin comes down. They can actually lose weight. Impact on nutrient absorption. Insulin resistance can alter the way nutrients are absorbed and utilized by the body, potentially leading to deficiencies and malnutrition despite adequate dietary intake. Okay. And number 5, increased inflammation. Insulin resistance is often associated with chronic low-grade inflammation, which can affect the lining of the digestive tract, leading to discomfort and impaired digestive function. Thank you so much, you guys. What's the name of the self-talk book? What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. The guy's name is Shad Helmstetter. This is a very old book, but it's like super cheap on Amazon. Okay, so she says red meat for insulin resistance. Yes. So let me explain just a tiny bit. So this is why, okay, I have a Facebook group and I love the Facebook group because it gives me an opportunity to really go broad in these conversations, because everything that I could talk about that I take and do, it's all connected. This is all connected. I'm a very targeted person in my supplementation because I want to target. I want to like an arrow. I want to pull back that arrow and I want to hit the target of let's bring the sugars down. Let's bring the insulin down. Let's work with the inflammation, such as like, using a turmeric, or let's hit the cortisol right in the head, like I can talk about ashwagandha and different things. And the only thing that I want to say before I move on to the food here is, if you're not, make sure that you're taking supplements that are third-party tested. Okay. These are all third-party tested. These are all like grown on organic farms. Like, let's pay attention to the fact that if we're going to grow plants and we're going to concentrate them down to the concentrate of the concentrate of the concentrate so that they are a very little potent pill, that it's not been sprayed with Roundup. Let's just do that, because otherwise what are you doing if you're taking little, poisonous pills? You don't want to do that. Okay. So when it comes to eating for your blood sugars, I talk about protein forward meals. So every day I've been coming to you recently, right around this time, talking about protein forward. How can we get like 30 grams of protein, 35 grams of protein at a sitting like this? Your protein intake, shoot for what your goal weight is in protein grams a day. Don't let that freak you out. So if it's 150, shoot for that. But just to give you an idea, a chicken breast is 42 grams of protein. So don't let that freak you out thinking that that means massive amounts of whatever. You're going to stay full longer. You're going to maintain your muscle mass. You're going to have these humming blood sugars so that I'm not eating a plate full of food, calling on, like spiking my sugars way up, calling on massive amounts of insulin to deal with it. And then the insulin can't get in the cell because it's resistant. So the insulin is now going to store all that fuel as fat. So do you see the hamster wheel situation? This is why we're doing this. I don't understand. I hit my 40s and everything just went to pot. I mean, like, what the heck? That's because I'm convinced that women are sliding into their 40s. You're insulin resistant. You do not know it. I knew none of this. Nothing. Even though I was gestational with one baby, hypoglycemic with another. My dad died at 30, type 2 diabetic. Not one health professional ever said to me, honey, you're gestational diabetic. That makes you 7 times more likely to be type 2 in your lifetime. I never heard the term insulin resistance, which really just stands for overconsumption of carbohydrates over a long period of time. It's not because God made bad food. It's because our food supply, we have now been trained by marketing to eat refined carbohydrates just all day long. We get up, we're not looking for a boost so that we can go chase a lion, right? We're eating a bagel and sitting on the couch. So we've just created this universe. So once we go into insulin resistant land, we just recognize it for what it is. And then we say things to ourselves like, you know what? I get to still be a total foodie. Even though I'm Italian, I thought I had to give it up. Nope, I can still be a total foodie. Now I take the foods and I deconstruct them and make them into what I want them to be. Okay. And this is one of them. So now here's my weird breakfast for today. And y'all, some of you might resonate with me and you might go, that's a great idea. And I'm going to do that. And others of you are going to go, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. But you have to get inside my head. So what is inside your head is my question. You have weird things too that you want to eat or that you're like, I need a creative idea for, because you have a favorite food. And that's what I empower women to do, like inside of the Facebook group. Like, seriously, don't hate the food that you love, that you don't think you have to hate it. Like that's old conversation. That's back in the 90s where you were told you had to eat rice cakes and cardboard. No. That's old information that's really bad for you and makes you fat. Snackwell cookies filled with sugar. No. That's old information. Let's do the new information. So basically, in talking about really loving your hormones, loving your, loving stability in your blood sugars, loving mental health. Okay. This is actually 4 eggs that are scrambled and they are 6 grams a piece. So that's 24 grams of protein. And then I talk a lot about the Maria Emmerich bread. This is an egg white protein powder bread. This one I made, this has a raspberry extract in it with like a chocolate. Here, I'll show you the chocolate top. I sprinkled a chocolate, like a cocoa, like a swerve top on it. Anyway, I just do weird combinations because I'm satiating my own like interests, right? So raspberry chocolate to me, that's very exciting. Okay. But the eggs, this is what I did with the eggs. So when I think about loving going to a diner and eating French toast, let's just say, the things that I miss are like, I miss banana. I am a sweet person. That is the number one thing that I like to change out are sweet things. And if you dissect like French toast, you can think about maybe cinnamon, brown sugar, maple, etc. So what I did was today for my eggs, I took banana extract. I know people will think I'm weird. It's okay. I'm really very, very like secure with that. You can think I'm weird, but this will help somebody. So banana extract, and you could think about what if you wanted maple extract, whatever. But then I also sweetened them with a caramel liquid stevia. So a caramel banana. Okay. And then of course, oopsie, sweet, you have to have salty. So then the salt, right? But then on top that, oh, you can't even see it very much anymore. It's brown sugar swerve. Have you guys tried the brown sugar swerve? I'd like to know who's tried that before. Brown sugar swerve. You're secure too, Julie. See, that's why we're friends. That's why we're friends. You're so funny. Yes. So brown sugar swerve. So to me, this is like a French toast, just dissected is what it is. Deconstructed. You ever watch any of those cooking shows? You know, where they deconstruct the food. Do the exact same thing for yourself. Like that's the best piece of advice that I can give you is to deconstruct. Ask yourself that question. This is literally what I did. I was working at the front desk of at a real estate company. And this is a handful of years ago now because whatever. This is the beginning of my journey. I'm in Minnesota. And very common to go to church and then have a potluck in the basement. And I asked myself the question, if I'm standing at the potluck, what is the food? Like I can envision it, got my eyes closed. If I could eat anything that I wanted to, what would it be? There were no rules, because you know the rules. Eat this first before you can eat this, all of the rules of your childhood. And for me, the answer was the 7-layer bar. And so I needed to reconstruct that. That's easy to do, by the way, like, because, we have almond flour now and we have all the good stuff. So it's easy to do. But I've kind of used that as a mental tool for myself now for a long time, where I've just asked myself, what are the flavors that I'm going for here? Oh, these are the flavors. Okay, then I'm just going to recreate that. But see, now I will be full for for hours by eating this. Okay. And this is not going to mess up my digestion. And the reason why that is so important is so many people have so many digestive issues and they don't even necessarily understand all the different connections. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say that I understand all of them either. But I will say that even having gone through now those, 5 ways that insulin resistance messes up your digestion, 5 different reasons why. When you begin to eat something like this, or like, let's say red meat is actually, this is very low inflammatory. This is so low inflammatory, you just can't even imagine, because it's very healing. It's very healing. Think about it when you're a baby. You're a newborn baby and you're nursing. That's all like all the colostrum and everything. It's all just fat. And it's all just like, there's no added, sugars or anything. It's like liquid gold, right? For a baby to survive. And this is all very healing to I did cook them with butter, Sherry. Thank you for asking. Yes. Butter, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, lard, ghee, all of the good things that are replenishing back into our body, as opposed to any fake plant oils. Don't do that. Those are really inflammatory. And I know that people get really up in arms having that conversation. This is all very controversial. I don't know if you knew this. This whole conversation is very controversial. But all of the seed oils, they're so inflammatory. And so this is why it is keto. True. It is truth. It is. Now, I didn't start there because I didn't know any of this terminology. This is all foreign. This was all so foreign to me because I was a massive sugar addict. I was, everything was white. I'm Italian. Like, use your imagination, right? And so thank you for following. So when I decided to trade out my foods, didn't know the conversation, didn't know the terminology, but I basically went paleo. I mean, if you would have asked me, I would have said paleo what? Instagram and their balloons, paleo. So, but then I realized, I'm still eating too many sweet potatoes. I'm still eating like a lot of medjool dates because I've got a sweet tooth. So I had to really fix what got me into the pickle to begin with, is really what I had to do. So in essence, an easier way to think about it is I'm completely grain-free and sugar-free. So what happens then is I'm not spiking my sugars. Every time you eat, you're going to call on insulin. But I'm going to eat this and I'm going to eat and my insulin is going to go, as opposed to eating Cheerios, Rice Krispies, Corn Flakes, whatever, like my dad did with his type 2 as an insulin dependent type 2, Cheerios and skim milk go like this. Whoa. And your insulin has to go, whoa, and match it. That's what happens when you eat like refined grains like that. Same, feel addicted to sugar. Did you have to deal with any type of yeast or parasites? You know what? That's a very good question. I feel like I would not have had a freaking clue what a parasite was back when I started. This is a little over 10 years ago now. I would have been like, what? Parachute? Like I was very disconnected from my body. I was very unaware. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but like I was just tooling along life. Like, whatever, case Sarah. So I really did not have any understanding. So number one, I have never dealt with yeast infections. So maybe my answer is just no, because maybe that just didn't present itself in my body the same way that it does with other people. So, but I wish that I had it dock and parachute. I know. I wish I would have documented, but I didn't even know to document. Do I intermittent fast? Tina, good to see you. Okay, this is my idea of intermittent fasting. I wait in the morning until I'm hungry. Otherwise, I'm not religious about it. I know I always have such a hard time explaining this. Anna, good to see you. And it's just because of my own verbiage, that's all. When I talk to people about my story and overcoming emotional connections with food, I know that that resonates with a lot of you because we all have different things. Good morning. Different things. Truth, I'll answer that in just a second. Thanks for the question. I so appreciate that. We all have different things that that rumble around in our brains. Come on, I'm 59. What are the chances that I have a few tracks from my childhood, right? That I haven't even realized because they become just a part of our subconscious. And so when I started to do that, I needed to spend time assessing myself. Had I jumped into intermittent fasting or something like that and thought that I had to follow a formula, otherwise I was going to put myself down and shame myself, it wouldn't have worked for me. And so I want to appeal to anybody who is similar to me in the thought process of, does intermittent fasting have benefits? Sure. It gives you a shorter window for eating. People talk about how it helps with autophagy and turning over cells and all of these things. But in my opinion, it is not the one thing that's going to just fix everything. And if you can't intermittent fast, you're not going to be able to figure this out. Way, 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 way more important, in my opinion, my layperson opinion, to make sure that you are tweaking your food down, 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 so that it's not spiking your sugars anymore. The people that I'm having the conversations with the most in my DMs oftentimes are people who you're exactly where I was. I haven't given up my sweet potatoes yet. I haven't been able to stop fill in the blank. I'm still I would reward myself with sweet potato fries at Red Robin. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not feeling bad about that or shaming myself about it. That was a part of my journey. And that's why I talk about, when I talk about targeted supplementation, I talk about the trio all the time. 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. You do not have to take my word for it. The testimonies, they're there for themselves. So if you were to go to my first last name.com, kirstenliebelt.com, you would see the second button, my personal message, number 1 button. Number 2 button is the testimonies. Number 3 button has the trio at the top of the list. Okay. So highly recommend everybody goes and looks at the testimonies because it gets your hope up that you can give your body raw materials to fix the way it's functioning. And that's how things work. Because again, nutrient absorption with insulin resistance, bad nutrient absorption. So let's fix that. Okay. For years, I had carb blocker in my pockets, and carb blocker is also on my site. And it was just a tool that I used. And because of social settings, because I was assessing my own world of triggers, of patterns, of self-sabotage. So I used carb blockers to block it. They will block up to 500 calories of sugar from hitting your bloodstream in that moment of eating. So it's stopping the cycle. It's like putting a ceiling on your spike is what it's doing. Very helpful. And so I talk about that in conjunction with the trio because I want you to assess your own world without any shame and be willing to be like, you know what? I am going to go, put myself a little bit on a journey so that you can actually begin to turn back around and heal with low inflammation. So if you're like a sugar person, like I am, getting over sugar cravings and stuff like that, like that's where the trio comes in. It actually helps to calm your mind about food. It helps to calm your mind about sugars and about sugar cravings. And the reason why I feel like that's falling down. And the reason why it does that is because it's filling in gaps, nutritional gaps. One of my favorite, you feel like you have an emotional connection to food you never thought you did, but you've noticed the last, May, thank you for the follow. You're so awesome. Breakfast, Anna, 4 scrambled eggs with caramel stevia, banana extract, scrambled in butter with brown sugar swerve, and a little bit of salt because you need the salt and the sweet. And then this is my Maria Emmerich bread. So a carb blocker, Jeanette, I'll show you what it looks like. I keep them on hand, and I'm going to be really honest, okay? I keep these on hand because I talk to people about these a lot and I show them to them. I don't take them anymore because I eat like this. So I want you to know that you can actually, for instance, we have a joint health product that is out of this world, phenomenal. Take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, anti-inflammatory blend, great, amazing. My wrists and my hands used to ache so badly all the time. I don't take it anymore because I don't need it. I'm very targeted and I want to take what helps me, right? I don't want to take things I don't need. Same thing for you. I don't want you taking things you don't need. This is what a carb blocker looks like. It's just a small little pill. You can take 1, 2, or 3 of them at the time that you sit down to eat. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm having a social moment with a girlfriend. This is the beginning of my journey. I'm at Denny's and I'm having real bread, real grain, which I don't eat. And I'm eating, whatever. I've got maple syrup on here somewhere, right? Well, in that moment, instead of shaming myself, I would take 3 of these. Do I even have 3 in here? I may not. Maybe I do. I do. I would take 3 of these little dealios, and I would go ahead and about 5 minutes before I eat, I'd get these into my tummy, and it's just a natural extract, and it just slows down the sugar spike. And I've had somebody, like, they've tested their blood, they've done the whole thing, right? It's just a natural way to help put a ceiling on your spike, because the higher you spike, the more insulin you're going to call on, and you want to stop that cycle. That's what a carb blocker is. I hope that helps. Thank you for sharing. I so appreciate you. And you have a very interesting name, Shirtless Eddie. Very interesting name. I love that. And that's what that is. And when I talk about, let's see, you've already. Oh, what is the bread you were using? No, joy in the journey. Do not be sad. Don't apologize ever. We don't do that. You're good. Totally good. And my thumb didn't come up this time on Instagram. That's so funny. This is the Maria Emmerich bread. There it is. The Maria Emmerich bread. So this is an egg white bread. Okay, so y'all, let's see here. There is a phone number. You can do 2 things. You can do one of 2 things to get these, like that kind of a recipe. Because I've got things in different places. So I need to streamline this. On my profile, on my page, on Instagram or TikTok, there's a phone number there. You can text recipes with an S, and you will get an immediate response for a PDF. And this recipe is in there, meaning that egg white bread. I just go ahead and switch out extracts. And I also go ahead and I'll layer it with different things, sometimes cinnamon, sometimes cocoa. Or option number 2, behind door number 2, you can just go to my site, which is my first last name.com. So kirstenliebelt.com. And there is actually a video on there, 8 minutes, I think. And I'm actually visually showing you how to make an egg white bread with an egg white protein powder. So I'm a visual learner. I know that people need visuals. Okay. And you can do that too. Either way. It's an extract. Is it I don't know what's in it, to be really honest. I've used this. This is so long ago. It's an extract, but I would have to look on the packaging to tell you exactly what's on there. But that's a good question too. Oh, and I think, did you ask me something else before? And I said that I would answer it. Hold on. I don't remember. Let me see what we got over here. You're welcome, Jeanette. Yes, and it's on my site. Does it taste eggy? No. So the bread does not taste eggy because it's egg white and egg protein powder, egg white protein powder. It does not taste eggy. However, I'm not confused. It's not like it's wheat. I mean, Nobody's trying to fool you and make you think it's wheat. You know what I mean? But it is really, really good. Just like a wheat, you can go to the store and get Egg Life wraps, which are egg white. And those are also, they're not eggy, but they have a different consistency. That's what that is. Let's see if I'm missing something, aren't I? You are welcome. You're welcome, Sherry. You make the bread all the time. Anna makes the bread all the time. She says, yes, absolutely. It's very, very good. I use it for so many things. And actually last night, and maybe I'll do this for tomorrow when I come back tomorrow, I tried the cottage cheese flatbread, and I feel like that's another game changer for my husband. That's another something that we can use for, like he could use it for sandwiches. He could use it for, whatever. I'll probably make mine sweet. You could make it sweet and then wrap up like sausage, like breakfast sausages. I'll probably do something like that. So here we go. Oh, what supplement brand? Nutrilite is the brand. And it's the line that I've used forever. So it's an entire line. So the reason why I point that out is because I know that I talk very specifically about insulin resistance, but there are many facets that people need help with. So in conversation about the digestion and what we were just talking about, I would highly recommend, and again, phone number is right at the top of my site, kirstenliebelt.com. Phone number right at the top. It says text me, ask me questions, say, hey, I was on your live and I want to know about the digestive enzyme and the probiotic. I need to get my digestion fixed. I need to start working on that. And then do not underestimate, you like the cottage cheese flatbread and chips. Yes. I haven't tried the chips yet, but I need to do that. Tina, no fruit allowed, berries. Berries. So you definitely want to, yeah, I'm probably the most limited on fruits than anything. Just because that is, yeah. Kefir. Oh, you know what? I would have to look at the ingredients in kefir, to be really honest. If it doesn't have sugar in it, I've not done a deep dive study on kefir, meaning I don't know if companies are, for instance, like if you buy yogurt, you can buy yogurts that have tons of sugar in them, and then you can buy plain full fat yogurts. Well, I'm assuming maybe that's the truth for kefir also. But anyway, so that's basically the whole thought process when it comes to insulin resistance and how it is affecting digestion. And for a lot of people, this is the last tip here. There are a lot of people that I know in person and people that I know just from studying stuff online that when there are autoimmune conditions and or a lot of IBS, to be really honest, they end up leaning towards carnivore. Now, that's not something that I teach because I am not carnivore, but I've definitely studied it, and it can be so low inflammatory that all of a sudden the body really responds in kind, and it's very helpful. So it's something just to consider. Like, for instance, if you're following the thought process that you're supposed to have X amount of vegetable servings a day, and because that's been our indoctrination, right? And I'm not saying that vegetables are bad. I'm just saying if you have IBS, if you have inflammatory issues going on because of insulin resistance for so long, we need to turn it back. So the way that I teach people to turn it back is I teach in detail why it works to use targeted supplementation. So the trio, those are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. For somebody who needs to deal with inflammation in the body, I have a phenomenal turmeric. I don't know if people know that turmeric is actually not very absorbable in your body. Just telling you. But what I talk about with turmeric happens to be, and it's their claims, not mine, 45 times more absorbable than an average turmeric, because it's actually not absorbable. I didn't know any of that. And it is taking 400 milligrams of theirs is like taking 6,000 milligrams of somebody else's. So if somebody has high inflammation, that could be very, very helpful. But then also too, like today, talking about digestive enzyme, I literally just took a digestive enzyme when I took my supplements now this morning. I take digestive enzymes all the time. And again, just having something that actually works inside of your body is so helpful. And then a probiotic. And we actually do have 2 probiotics. One is a powder stick that has a prebiotic and then 5 strains. Extremely beneficial. I'm just telling you, it has a stay alive technology and a stick to the gut technology. Like I actually don't think that kefir, or I'm not against it, because again, I'd have to look at the ingredients. I don't think it's enough for what's going on in our guts. This is just my own opinion. I feel like we have to do something different, especially if you are experiencing digestive issues. You could literally put digestive in the comments, like on Facebook, and I can get you information on both the digestive enzyme and the probiotic. And you guys could like send me a message or something. But that's really turning things back. But then the last piece of that is I have a Facebook group, and every month we do a 5-day free challenge at the beginning of the month so that you can nail that month. Like, let's start to add months together like this so that by the end of the year, you can be in a completely different place. Or maybe you started this journey with me 6 months ago and you already know the different place that you are in already. Like, I'm telling you, what was all of my stuff is in use. I had a testimony yesterday that I put in my stories that was, she just said, I have so many people now asking me, what are you doing? Because the conversation, if you didn't know, if nobody's told you that insulin is a hormone, if you didn't know that when your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight, you're literally stuck. This is called your hamster wheel right here. This is the hamster wheel. You can't lose weight. Very frustrating, but this is the conversation that's not being had. But when we bring down insulin, you want to join in June? Join us, jump in. Are you in the group, Truth? Are you in the group? So again, back my site, kirstenliebelt.com, there's a Facebook blue button there. You can get in there. You can jump in. And then every month I do this. And June is actually my 1-year anniversary of the group. And this has really been fun, because if I can put tools in your toolbox and you don't have to have a supplement cupboard that looks like your makeup drawer, and you can stop spending money on things that either don't work or things that you didn't even need because you needed to be more targeted over here for what we're talking about. Trust me, I get it. Listen, Facebook ads everywhere, Amazon things everywhere from our friends. And, my friend is taking this and my friend is taking this, and I heard this and I heard this and I heard this. And sometimes it gets very frustrating and you feel maybe confused, or it's chaotic, and it's like a confused group. I saw her say group. A confused mind does nothing. So let's get you streamlined. Let's get you efficient, and let's completely change the way that your summer is going to look. It doesn't have to look the same as it did last year or the year before. I've now gone, I always forget to tell all these pieces. I need to keep a list of my thought process. I've gone from a 2X down to a large in my 50s, post-cycle stopping, because I understand this process. And so I can help insulin-resistant women lose sizes. Like, this is the goal: burn fat, not sugar for fuel. Thank you for the follow. Not yet, but you'll join today. Please do. Please do. It honestly, you have to get connected to somebody like myself that is going somewhere with this, that can take you on the track for a long-term thought process, right? So that you can actually get the results that you want. Swiping and seeing an ad for, let's say, a supplement, and you go get that supplement, and all of a sudden you've got that one, and that maybe has apple cider vinegar in it or whatever. I don't have any of that, so That's not me, but you find something like that. And then you hear a friend talking about maybe something over here. And so you go and you grab that one. And then, whatever, like you're on TikTok shop and there's something else and whatever, like there's so many directions. There's a lot of noise, but understanding why something actually makes your body function at a higher level it's priceless, because then you get the key to understand why your body is functioning the way that it is. One of my favorite, you're really curious about what is happening for menopause and the belly fat so many women are experiencing this. It is insulin resistance, Heather, and cortisol. And I could just stand here all day long and talk to you guys because I'm such a freaking geek about this stuff. I knew nothing. I didn't know any of this. I was so unaware of my body. I was so disconnected. I would have never, ever, ever chosen to study any of this. But when I woke up one day, it was really overtime, and I went, wait a minute. If modern medicine is so freaking amazing, then why did my dad have a lazy Susan full of it and he's gone? And that wasn't a terminal diagnosis. Type 2 is not that. I mean, this is where I went in my brain. So when I started to hear things like, okay, I'll give you one example. In my supplementation, my daily is it's 3-in-1 is my daily. Multivitamin, multimineral, phytonutrient, plants, minerals, and vitamins. Okay. A friend of mine, his dad, who couldn't get his sugars under control for 10 years, starts taking this three separate supplements for one dose twice a day. Over 4 months, he gets his A1C in check for the first time in years. Goes on to lose like 50 pounds because he gave his body the raw materials that it needed to function. Why is that happening? And why aren't we being told that maybe there are just some deficiencies because of our soil, because of our food supply, because of the toxins, because maybe our liver can't do what our liver needs to do, because of these are simple conversations. Thank you for the follow, Deborah. And that's, to me, it really, really riles me up. It really riles me up. And when Heather says, what is happening? Menopause and belly fat. So insulin is a hormone. Cortisol is a hormone. They both show up on your belly. It's all the same conversation, but in our society, we have two conversations. We don't just talk about menopause, perimenopause, menopause, and insulin resistance as one conversation, because it is. It's all connected. I could say it about 1 million times. Yep, multi-mineral, multivitamin, and it's plants, phytonutrient. Yep. And truth, all you have to do is just text that number that's on my profile, or go to kirstenliebelt.com, and the number's at the top and it says, text me and say, what was that again? I was on your live, and I'll share with you exactly what I'm talking about. But we have these separated conversations. We have a very confused world. And chaos is a strategy. This is actually very simple. This is very one conversation. I'm a narrow conversationalist. This is all about hormones. Obesity is not a calorie in, calorie out problem. It is a hormonal problem. Okay. So once you start to change the way you're seeing this, all of a sudden light bulbs will go on. I promise you. Once you understand, oh, that was a deficiency, right? So he starts to take this daily supplement twice a day, and it basically brings things, because he had a deficiency. So does that mean everybody? No. But if what we went through earlier, the 5 ways that insulin resistance messes up your digestion, if nutrient absorption is one of them, does this maybe explain why we're not getting the nutrients even out of the food that we're eating? And there are many other conversations about that. Thank you for sharing, Anna. You are very wonderful. You've been thinking about that for a while now. Yep. So when I have conversation, I can have conversations. When I talk to somebody, the reason why I always want conversation in my DM with people, or if you text me, is because your very specific conversation is different than somebody else's. So the root of where we need to start could be completely different. Insulin resistance and the trio might be the very base for every single person that's watching me right now. 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients to help with insulin sensitivity. That is true. But one person might say, I am needing, I'm needing more help with transitioning my food. So I need to talk to you about the carb blocker. Somebody else might say, my digestion is really messed up and I need to talk about the 2 things that could really help with my digestion. Somebody else might say, my inflammation is off the charts. And so I need to talk to you about the turmeric. And somebody else might say, here you go, Heather, my cortisol is so high. My stress level, I work overnights. I'm an intensive care nurse. I just have a lot of cortisol going on. I have a very stressful life. I'm going through a divorce. These are all the conversations in my DMs. And I could go on, right? Then maybe we need to talk about ashwagandha. And FYI, the ashwagandha is certified USDA organic. Same with the turmeric. Certified. Hard to get a certification on USDA organic. And it is third-party tested. So it's actually going to do what it says it's supposed to do. And right now they actually have a deal going on. I didn't check it before I came on. I was going to, and I forgot. I don't think they're sold out. But when you buy 2 bottles of the ashwagandha, you get a free, it's $46, stress relief probiotic. A probiotic that is very specifically designed to help your gut that is in stress. But again, that's not for everybody, right? Not everybody's living a super stressful life and needs to get their cortisol under control. But that belly fat, Heather, that is insulin and it is cortisol. The digestion, that bloating that you're feeling, that frustration, like don't make decisions about how you're doing for your weight. If you're bloated, you're going to go down a rabbit hole and you're going to be hard on yourself. Let's deal with the bloating. Let's get some digestive help for you and teach you how to eat a certain way so that this will not bloat me. In fact, I will eat this. I will be full for hours. I will have no bloating. My blood sugars will be stable. I'm just telling you, it's a completely different life. It is in Canada. So Heather, okay. I have Canadian links. So go to my site, kirstenliebelt.com. And the third button, which has the targeted list, right at the top, there's a Canadian link. Go on there and look for yourself. Pretty please, because the trio, yes, I have many Canadian customers now on the trio. Love my Canadian customers. Make sure you register with your name, please, so that you can check the box for the perks. Don't miss out on the perks, you guys. You get points for your products, which is cash off of future orders, plus opportunity for free shipping. So register with your name. However, different countries allow different things. I actually don't know about the ashwagandha, Heather. Now, I think the deal, if ashwagandha is in your country, like, how do I say this? There are certain products that are because of the ingredient list. That's just what it is. So if the ashwagandha is available in Canada, then yes, I think the deal is the same in Canada. 2 bottles and you get a free stress probiotic, which is telling you. And then learn how to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. Like, let's talk food. Listen, I'm an Italian foodie. I should never have figured this out. I was the opposite of figuring this out. I'm just telling you, like, I want you to like feel the oozing of hope coming through the screen. If I can do this, anybody can do this. I literally had the thought in my head. I can remember, in fact, we went and we visited the 20-acre hobby farm that we had. We visited it on Saturday. And I remember we lost it between 2008 and 2010. That's why we started a business. And thank God, because we've now paid off over 6 figures in debt, et cetera. Huge, huge, huge. But I remember standing in that yard. I remember the clothes that I was wearing when I had the thought, I'm in my upper 30s. I wonder if I'm supposed to just embrace obesity as an Italian woman. I mean, there's a lot of obesity and type 2 in my family. Maybe that's me too. And really, the truth is, like with Heather having that conversation, I was just very, very insulin resistant, very, very addicted to sugar, very, very emotionally attached to food because of celebrating with food at weddings and mourning with food at funerals and being told that it's like the most respectful thing you could do is finish everything on your plate for the person who made you the food, right? Those types of things. So I remember this in my head. So I wish I can show pictures. I'll show you my before and after. I can show you a picture that will make sense to you, but I didn't know that I could change. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know that this was a hormone. I knew nothing. So let's see, KirstenLiebelt.com. Let me just show you quickly. Here we go. So this is what my site looks like, you guys, okay? So if you go to my first last name.com, this is my before and after picture. I'll show Facebook first because you can just see it on my site. Okay. So that's me not in my upper 30s. That's actually me in my upper 40s. So 10 years after I had the thought process of maybe I should just embrace obesity, it kind of looks like I was. And then the other picture is me last summer. I have to get a new one this summer. That's so funny. So that's just my website, my before and after that I have picked out. And do you see that button right there? What does that button say? Text me. It says text me. So you can text me and you can say, I was on your live and you talked about this. You talked about this. How do I do this? What can I look at the ingredients in this? Whatever, recipe, whatever. And then when you go down, right here are the testimonies. This little button right in the middle, that little button, testimonies. Do yourself a favor and just go look at them. Most all of those are from like January 1st, and it's not the compilation of all of them. People's sugars going down, people losing weight, because when you bring your insulin and your sugars down, you can lose weight. And so those are specifically testimonies that are connected to the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. But anyway, okay. Anna, you're amazing. I just want you to know that. Let's see if I can see that. You're amazing, Illy. Thank you for following. Okay. Lil. Tell you how what, Lil? Is it Lil or Lily? Lily. I think it's Lily. I know, Anna. You're just having a heyday this morning, Anna. You're just spreading so much love and goodness. I appreciate that. Lily. I love that name. That is very, very beautiful. I love that a lot. I had a great Aunt Lily. So tell you what, or tell you how, what, Lily, and then I can direct you. Like maybe you just need to go and text me. Oh, you just happened upon my page. That is the craziest thing. So I wonder if you're on my business page or on my personal page. It's really wild to me that people can still just find you organically. That used to only ever be on TikTok. So it's just an interesting that they're all working their own algorithms and doing fun stuff like that. So that's very, very cool. You're not sure. Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to know. However, Lily, if you need help with something, let me see here. Will you just text me? You're interested in help with insulin resistance. Perfect. So I'm going to have you, let's see. This is going to be backwards. Go to my site, which is my first last name.com. And at the very top, there's a phone number right here. And if you just text me there, say, hey, this is Lily. I was on your live, so that I can help you. right, go to my first last name.com, kirstenliebelt.com. And there's a phone number right at the top. And you can text me and say, hey, I was on your live. Because I think if I show this to you right here, that's backwards. And I don't even know if you can see that. That looks fuzzy to me. That does not look clear. My name doesn't show. Oh, it doesn't? Bizarre. Okay. Interesting. Okay. My first name is, there you go, Lily. That's it. KirstenLiebelt.com. You got it. See, isn't that interesting? See, I don't know what things look like from other people's perspective. That's so funny. So there you go. Do you think you got that, Lily, that you can text me there? That would be great. And then let's chat. Because again, let's make sure that you get the help you need. You don't get things that you don't need. I'm not interested in that. Let's target your universe. All right. Well, I am going to go have breakfast. You will. Okay, perfect. And you guys have a really super blessed Monday. And I hope that any of that mindset may have helped you just to like take down your week a little bit differently. And I'll be back tomorrow, but I really do want you to have a lot of hope. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to understand that even if right now in this moment you think I could never, whatever it is for you, I could never go green free, sugar free. I could never actually, I'm so undisciplined. How would I ever have a supplement routine? That's ridiculous. I could never do that. That was me to a T. So I just want you to know that you can have a lot of hope and encouragement. And then if you do go to my website, which is my first last name.com, there is a Facebook blue button, and it's for women. And that's a great place to jump in. And I'm going to have another 5-day challenge at the beginning of June. And get yourself encouraged and nailed down for the summer. What if you started a supplement routine for the summer? You learned how to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. And going into the fall, you weren't worried anymore about the hibernation pounds or you get a handle on it now before the holidays. You're in a different place over the summer where you are able to like maybe enjoy your life a little more because the sun is out and the air is warm and whatever. And you can be in a completely different place going into the fall and not, like depressed that you're going into the holidays. And now what? Because Halloween starts candy season. And it goes from Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas to Valentine's Day to Easter. And it just goes and it doesn't stop. So you're in a reprieve right now where it's just summer and you get to just enjoy summer. So anyway, always reach out to me. This is what I do. And thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions, always let me know, because I'd be more than happy to help you navigate your journey so that you can turn things back and you can become your own advocate. Literally take back your body so that you can make more memories. Okay. You don't have to live a life that is in pain or dysfunction or frustration like that. Okay. All right. So you have a super blessed day, you guys. Thanks for hanging. You guys are amazing. And I will talk to you very soon.